Hello and welcome back to our series where I teach you how to do archival data research in Matlab. So last time we were looking at how to merge CRSP and Compustat data, and the video was rather long, and I realized after the video that there is a faster way to do the merge, and so I wanted to make this quick video to show you that way. So the majority, here's the new script file I've created. It saves 6 lines of code. The other script file was 118 lines of code. This one's 111. So it saves, 7 lines of code. But it saves a lot more time in terms of actual thinking. And so we did all of this right here in the last video. I'm going to go ahead and run all of this. This was the same code we ran in the last video. Pretty much. And so we have our stock return data. We have our accounting ratios data, which I've converted to a double array. I did that right here. We have our linking table. So all of this should be familiar from the last video. And the hard part of the last video was taking our stock return data and merging it with the linking table. In other words, for each perm-no in our stock returns data set, finding the corresponding GV key that perm number matches to in the linking table. That was the hard part of the last video. That was the most complicated part. So starting from this line will be a little bit different. Starting from this line will be a little different. We're going to go ahead and rename the perm-no variable in the linking table from lperm-no to just regular perm-no so that it has the same name as the variable in the stock returns data set. This variable in the linking table, lperm-no, given by CRSP, is the same variable as perm number. I don't know why they call it lperm-no, probably because this is the perm number that we're going to link to the GV key, or that is linked to the GV key. That's why they call it lperm-no, but it's just the perm number. So we're going to rename. Now it's called perm-no in both data sets, both there and here. And all we have to do here's the time-saving step right here. It's just merge. All we have to do is merge these two together. So I'm going to call the table that results from the merging of these two tables, I'm just going to call that table merge. And we're going to use our inner join function. We're going to join the stock returns table to the linking table using the perm-no as the joining variable. Both tables have perm-no in it. So we just join this table or merge this table with this table on perm-no, and then we'll have the GV key that corresponds to every perm-no. Let's do that. So that particular step, I did that, plus what I'm going to do next. I did all of that. Basically what I coded for you in the last video is I coded the inner join function. But there's a function to do that. It's called inner join. You don't have to make the function yourself. But that's basically what I did in the last video, is I had to code it myself. I taught you how to do it. I mean, it was definitely useful teaching you how to code in Matlab. More useful than probably this, because the inner join function just does it. You don't even have to think about how to do the join. You just assume that it'll join the right perm-no with the right perm-no here. One thing that this doesn't do, though, is make sure that the date right here lines up is between these two dates. So in the merge, if we look at the merge here, we have our perm-no, we have our date, 4-digit SIC code, return for the month, and then we have the GV key that corresponds to that perm-no, the link start date, the link end date. And what we do have to verify is that this date right here is between these two dates. And if not, then we need to set, then this GV key and this perm-no, it's suspicious whether they should be linked together. We don't know if they should be linked together. They're only linked together over this time period. So that's what we do have to run some more code on this. So first I'm going to convert the merge table to a double array for faster computation. I'm going to call that array just R for returns. And I'm going to put the GV key in column 2 of R. So we'll have permno, GV key, date, SIC, regular return. And then these two columns here, the link start date and the link end date, I have to convert those to a double array. So that's what the YYYMMDD does, because they are, if you look at these variables, they are date time variables. And to convert these dates to a number, like to convert this date to the number 19860109 with no dashes in it, we've done this before. We use this function. So this line of code takes our merge table and converts it to this. So we have permno. I actually wanted. Okay, so we have permno date, SIC return, GV key, start date and end date. All right. Actually, I want to put. So I didn't want to do that. I want to delete R. I want the GV key to be in column 2. So I want permno, then GV key, then date. I think. Actually, you know what? I'll just leave it like this. This is fine. It doesn't matter where the GV key is. It can stay in column 5. I think that's where it is currently. Yeah, that's fine. So now what I want to do is go in R and just go row by row. If this date here is between these two dates, then keep the row. Else, set the whole row equal to nan. So that's what this code does. So if in column 2 of row I, if it's less than the next to last column of row I, so if column 2 of row I is less than the next to last column of row I, or greater than the last column row I, that means this does not lie between these. So if the date is less than the start date, vertical line means or the date is greater than the end date, then that means the link was formed outside of that window and we cannot trust that link. So we're going to set the whole row here equal to nan. Row I, all columns equal to nan. So we just loop this through each row of R from I equals 1 all the way to the size of R in the row's direction. So you'll see some of the rows of R became nans because those dates weren't right. Now delete all rows of R that are all nan. Delete all rows of R that are all nan. So we did that. So R is this smaller table. This smaller double array. So there we go. And we have everything matched up correctly. Now go ahead and put the GV key in the second column. And delete the last two columns. We don't need this column and this column anymore. So I'm putting here this variable. I'm putting column 5 where column 2 is. Deleting columns 6 and 7, and then columns 2, 3, and 4 would just be after that. So there we go. Permno, GV key, and then the date, SIC code, and return. And then from there, the rest of the code is exactly the way it was in what we did in the previous video. This is a copy and paste of the previous video. Everything else is exactly the same. It was just the part of the previous video where we were trying to assign the right GV key to each permno in our stock returns matrix. It's that part of the previous video that I figured out a much faster solution. which is just to use this, just to join the linking table with the stock returns table. That's the faster solution. And the rest of this, starting right here, all of this down here is exactly as we did in the previous video. So I hope that you followed this video and that you see you can go back. If you have your code from the previous video, you can go back and change it appropriately, and you'll see that it accomplishes the exact same thing. You get the exact same final merged data set here. It's exactly the same thing as if you did it this way versus the last way. You'll get the exact same thing. It's just this way is a lot faster and more intuitive. Well, I don't know about more intuitive. It's just, it doesn't require as much hard coding because we can just use the inner join function itself instead of actually having to code the inner join function like we did last time. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you on the next one.